जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रज गच्छाया श्रोता सत्य शिष्य मच्छिला ऐसी भक्त वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रज गच्छाया श्रोता सत्य शिष्य मच्छिला भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्री प्रभुपाद की। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की। श्रीरूप श्री सनातन भक्त रंगनाथ जी गोपाल भक्त सरगनाथ गोस्वामी प्रभु की। प्रेम से गो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवजरी गौर भक्त वृंद की। श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपा गोपी गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की। वृंदावन धाम की, मथुरा धाम की, मायापुर धाम की, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की। वृंद देवी तुलसी देवी की, भक्ति देवी की, गंगे यमुने देवी की, हरे नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की। श्री श्री गौनिताय की, श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की, श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर की। गो प्रेमानंदे हरे हरे बोल। समवेत भक्त वृंद की। All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Guranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. नास्तभयेशवदेशो नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नास्तिकी। एते चमसा कलपुंसं कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयं इन्द्रियार्व्याकुलं लोकं हृद्यन्ते युगे युगे। नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपापा प्रणाशनं प्रणामो दुःखशमनस्तं नमामि हरिं परम्। निगमकल्पातरोर्गलितं फलं सुखमुखदमृतदिवसम्मुतं विविधभक्तं रासमालयं मुहुरौ राशिगभूविभावुकः। Hare Krishna. So we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 16th chapter, text number 46 and 47. So King Chitraketu meets the Lord. So here the king is offering prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text number 46. Vidittamananta samastam tava jagat atmana janai riha charitam vigyapyam parama guroho kyad iva savitur iva kadyotai. Vidittamananta samastam tava jagat atmano janai riha charitam vigyapyam paramaguroho Kiat iva savitur iva kadyotai. Translation, O unlimited supreme personality of Godhead, whatever a living entity does in this material world is well known to you because you are the super soul. In the presence of the sun, there's nothing to be revealed by the light of a glowworm. Similarly, because you know everything, in your presence, there's nothing for me to make known. Text number 47. Namastubhyam Bhagavate Sakala Jagata Stiti Layo Dayeshayam Duravasitatma Gataye Kuyoginam Bhida Paramahamsaya. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. My dear Lord, you are the creator, maintainer, and annihilator of this cosmic manifestation. But persons who are too materialistic and who always see separateness do not have eyes with which to see you. They cannot understand your real position, and therefore they conclude that the cosmic manifestation is independent of your opulence. My Lord, you are the supreme pure, and you are full in all 6 opulences. Therefore I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. Atheistic men think that the cosmic manifestation has come about by chance, by a combination of matter, without reference to God. Materialistic so-called chemists and atheistic philosophers always try to avoid even the name of God in relation to the cosmic manifestation. For them, God's creation is impossible to understand because they are too materialistic. The Supreme Personality of God is Paramahamsa, or the Supreme Pure. Whereas those who are sinful, being very much attached to material sense enjoyment and therefore engaging in material activities like asses, are the lowest of men. All their so-called scientific knowledge is null and void because of their atheistic temperament. Thus, they cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yanam Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupagadama Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutabata Kamalan Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscham Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishagan Vidamsham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tatta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sude Devi pranamami Hare Priyam vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha paditanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, it's a very great honor and privilege to welcome Mukund Datta Prabhu to Govardhan Eco Village. Prabhuji born in Switzerland and is from the childhood he was so inclined to devotional service. And in 1988 he came to India and he got association with the ISKCON devotees.
1980.
1980, sorry, 1980. And after that, Prabhuji moved to Switzerland and he was serving as a puchari and book distributor. And he came back to Vrindavan 1988. And from the time he's living in Vrindavan, more than 36 years. It's a great honor, and actually, unless otherwise you are so devoted to Shri Radha Krishna and Srila Prabhupada, it's not possible to live such a long time in Vrindavan. Prabhuji is serving in various area, and Prabhuji is a head pujari from 1992. Such a long period of time he is serving as a head pujari in Sri Sri Krishna Balaram Mandir and Sri Sri Radha Sham Sundar Temple. Sri Sri Gaunita and Prabhupada Samadhi is there, and Prabhuji is a head pujari for all the temples. And Prabhuji is serving in VAHE. He teaches various subject matters in Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, etc. And Prabhuji is a specialist in teaching samskaras, yajnas, and etc. also. And we are very, very honored and happy to welcome Mukunda Datta
Hare
Prabhu to
Krishna.
Govardhaniko village by loudly chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. So yes, we are very happy to be here. We are very fortunate to be here in Braj, outside of Braj. So, of course, Braj is the eternal abode of the Lord in the spiritual realm. Vaikuntha Loka, the highest planet is known as Krishna Loka. Krishna Loka is divided in four. Dwarkapuri, where Vasudeva Krishna is residing. Then Mathurapuri, Mathuresh, Krishna is there. And then Golok Vrindavan, and the innermost part is known as Braj Vrindavan, where Shyamasundar, Yashodanandan, Nandanandan, Radhanath is performing his wonderful pastime with his most dear associates, the Brijabasis, who have the highest love for Krishna. And it is known as Madhurya Bhav. So they do not know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They think Krishna is my son, Krishna is my friend, Krishna is my beloved. And so Krishna is relishing very much the wonderful love of his associates. And then also Shadidip Navadip is there in Krishna Loka, situated next to Braj Golok, which is not different from Braj, at the same time different, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is performing his wonderful pastimes. Gauranga Sundar is there with his eternal associates, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauranga, Gaurahari, is not different from Sri Radha and Krishna. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahayanya. And so Navadip Dham is no different from Braj. At the same time, there's a difference there, of course. And so it is also explained in the scriptures, Srila Prabhupada has explained that all the Vaikuntha planets, what to speak of the insignificant material world, does not equal to Golok Vrindavan. It is the biggest abode of the Lord, most wonderful. Everything else is practically insignificant. Just for some understanding, for the common man, it is mentioned that the spiritual realm is known as Tripad Vibhuti, opulence, three parts. And the material world is Ekpad Vibhuti, one part, just to give some understanding that the spiritual world is much bigger than the material world, but actually the material world is completely insignificant and is only manifested sometimes by Krishna's will. So when Krishna desires, then the material world is manifested, and then when the material world is manifested, different personalities, expansions of Krishna, Ete Chamsa Kalapumsam Krishnastu, Bhagavan Swayam, Indriyari Vyakulam Lokam Ridyanti Yuge Yuge. So this is known as Paribhasha Sutra. That is one of the most important verses of the Bhagavatam, showing that Krishna is the absolute supreme personality of Godhead and everyone else is an expansion of Krishna. So that should be remembered throughout the Bhagavatam. Otherwise, somebody may become bewildered. Well, there's a talk about Narayan, Ramchandra, the old Bhagavan. Even sometimes it is mentioned Bhagavan in the Bhagavatam. Even Indra is sometimes addressed as Bhagavan, Bhagavan Indra, Bhagavan Shiv. But they are so called because they're serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, and Krishna himself is coming once in the day of Lord Brahma, which is a very long time. Sahasra Yuga Paryantam, as explained in Bhagavad Gita, 1,000 ages taken together. Kali Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Satya Yuga. That is one Dibya Yuga, and 1,000 of these, so which is 4 million, some 300,000, something like this years. Long time similarly is also the night. So, and here of course, just I'm saying this because we have to know the origin of everything and we have to know where we want to go. So we are doing sadhana bhakti, as explained by our acharyas, under the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, the previous acharyas, especially Rupa Goswami, who is very dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Gadhamayam Dadati Sapadantikam. And Rupa Goswami in Krishna Lila is a very dear associate of Radha Krishna, specifically Srimati Radharani, known as Rupa Manjari, serving Srimati Radharani. She's a little younger, and they're in the confidential pastimes of Radha and Krishna at noontime or nighttime. So he has also explained, as Mahaprabhu, his desire is there. He came to give the Yuga Dharma, the chanting of the holy names, the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And specifically, he came to give Braj Bhakti, not Vaikuntha Bhakti, but Braj Bhakti. And specifically also Anarpita Charim Chirakena Vatana Kalau Samaripitama Unat Udjvala Rasam Sabakti Sriyam. Unad Ujjvala Ras. The love of the gopis that is known as Madhurya Bhav or Gopi Bhav or Unad Ujjvala Ras. Unat means the highest. Ujjval, very bright. Ras. So at the same time, it may also, like we can see, most of Mahaprabhu's associates, the Radha Krishnas or the associates of Krishna, and especially those close to Mahaprabhu, they are associates of Radha Krishna. Others are associates of Nityananda. Like today, is disappearance day of Udaran Datta Thakur and Sri Mahesh Pandit. These two devotees are associates of Nityananda Prabhu, especially Udaran Datta Thakur, as known as this Dvadash Gopal, 12 intimate associates of Nityananda who are Gopal, who are Gopas in Krishna Lila. Udaran Datta Thakur is known as Subahu Saka. So, and Sri Mahesh Pandit is a devotee of Nityananda, but he had equal love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. And so his name is, he's also Saka in Krishna Lila, Mahabahu. So at least, yes, of course, we don't have so much time to speak so much about them because we're supposed to stop by 9 o'clock, right? But so at least we should, as they're mentioned in our Vaishnav calendar, at least we have to say their names and do Jaikar. Udaran Dat Thakur ki, Sri Mahesh Pandit ki. So Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is no different from Balaram, is the elder brother of Krishna. Of course, Krishna is Swami Bhagavan is explained, and so Balaram is the first expansion. And so Nityananda, no different from Balaram, first expansion of the Lord of Mahaprabhu. So Krishna is Mulrup, Adipurush. And similarly also Mahaprabhu. Only Krishna or Mahaprabhu are addressed as Swami Bhagavan. All others are addressed as Bhagavan. So Sri Nityananda Mahaprabhu came to preach the holy names, the glories of the holy names, give Braj Bhakti, give transcendental knowledge. Similarly also Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu was most merciful. And of course also Mahaprabhu is known as most merciful. Nama Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurati Se Namaha. Giving Krishna Prem. Similarly, Mahaprabhu also is giving Krishna Prem and is giving Gauranga Prem. And so they are the deliverer, Patita Pavana Hetu Tavavata, the deliverer of the most fallen. Even those who are fallen by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu and also Mahaprabhu. And they can be delivered and very quickly advance in spiritual life. So Nityananda Prabhu was asked by Mahaprabhu to preach, even starting in Navadvip. So sometimes we think in the Holy Dham we don't have to preach, we don't have to give the holy names, but mostly we have to. Even Mahaprabhu's time, there was a need. As Jagannath and Madai were there, although they were from Brahmana families, but they became drunkards and women hunters. And others were there also. Smarta Brahmanas and even some artistic persons were there, so there was a need. Even nowadays, there's a need to preach in Navadvip. And even in Braj, there's a need. Because although these are transcendental places, but there's a covering of the holy Dham. And so then ordinary persons, they also come to the holy Dham. They are not in the Dham, they are on the Dham. Because only those who are highly qualified can enter the holy Dham. So I lost my heart in Vrindavan, we say, and we see the t-shirts. And we are in Vrindavan, but those who are highly advanced, those who are properly doing bhajan and absorbed, they are in Vrindavan. Everyone else is on the surface. If you're under the three modes of material nature, you're not in Vrindavan, you're on Vrindavan. Very simple. So you can judge by yourself if you're in Vrindavan really or not. So Nityananda was preaching, and then Udaran Dat Thakuri was also preaching. He was known as Patita Pavan. So he was the deliverer of the very, very fallen Maha. So Mahapandit or even Mahesh Pandit. So they were very, just like Nityananda Prabhu, very humble and very merciful, giving this knowledge to everyone. And we can see then even then Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada or Srila, our Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, especially Prabhupada, he went to the West, giving the knowledge to the most fallen. And by the potency of the Acharyas, Nityananda, he was successful. And by their mercy, we are here. And so we remember these two great personalities and we pray to them that we may have some love for Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And also that we may be able to give this knowledge to others, to help others. That is a Vaishnav. Sarva bhute hite rataha. So it's not thinking only about himself, but is thinking for the welfare of others. Is trying to give knowledge to others, prasadam to others, the holy names to others. So here we are, yes, of course, with also pleasure. We are, of course, we have more pleasure in hearing about Radha Krishna's pastimes or Mahaprabhu's pastimes because that is goal. At the same time, we also hearing about the incarnations of the Lord and even Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri, just to set the example, although mostly he was absorbed in remembering Radha and Krishna. But just to set the example, every day he used to go to Gadadhar Pandit at Tota Gopinath, where he stayed, and ask him to read the Bhagavatam, as we are reading now every day, as Prabhupada instructed, and the evening Bhagavad Gita if possible. And going through the whole Bhagavatam. So Gadadhar Pandit was reading every day, and it is mentioned that 100 times Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had asked over the years, because the last 18 years he stayed in Jagannath Puri. After taking sannyas, 6 years he was traveling South India, going to Braj, coming and going, but 18 years, the last 18 years he was simply in Jagannath Puri. And so then many times he asked Gadadhar Pandit to speak about Prahlad Maharaj, to speak about Dhruva Maharaj. And certainly they were discussing also about King Chitraketu and about his devotional life and the beautiful prayers which are mentioned here. So here, after he had darshan of the Lord, of course we know first of all, so he had desired to have a child, which he got, but then the child was poisoned by the co-wives of his wife because they were jealous. They didn't have children. So then he was lamenting. And in the beginning, Angira Muni, a great sage, because they didn't have a child, and they asked him for blessings. So we always need the blessings of the Vaishnavas. Of course, we should not ask for material things, but we should ask for pure bhakti, Shuddha bhakti. But at the same time, if one is a householder, one is supposed to have a child. It is mentioned by Chanakya Pandit. Putra sunyam, putra hinam griha sunyam. So if there's no son, especially, then the house is empty. So it is understood if one is householder, one should have children usually. But if the child is not there, then especially the parents, even more than or the couple, so the parents of the couple from both sides, they become very anxious why there is no child. So previously also, especially because they wanted to continue the dynasty, specifically for the Kshatriyas. So the king had to have a son who would then become the king, being trained properly. So therefore they approached also, or they asked the blessings from the sages. And Angira Muni said, yes, you will have a child, but it will be the source of great pleasure and distress also. Happiness and distress is there in material world, always. I said, yeah, fine, okay. He understood also, because he had some devotion also. He may not have been a pure devotee in the beginning, but then by the mercy of Angira Muni and especially Narada Muni, then he was blessed. And so child was born, but then the co-wives of his wife who bore the child poisoned him and he died. So beginning he was happy when the child was born, but the child died, then he was unhappy. But then by the power of Angira and Narada Muni, the departed soul was brought back to the body, but then that specific soul in that body gave knowledge to King Chitraketu and his wife and other wives, the co-wives were there too, and they understood that actually we should engage in devotional activities. And then they were ready to get instructions from Narada Muni. So Angira, so usually the sadhus, they're friendly to each other. And so friendship is there amongst the saintly devotees, the sadhus. And since Narada Muni is known as practically the foremost of the saintly persons, Munivar, a great pure devotee of the Lord, well known all over the universe, especially on this planet and the higher planets also. In the lower planets, they don't really care for Narada Muni, but sometimes he goes there to deliver somebody. So then he gave transcendental knowledge, Mahavidya, great knowledge, to King Chitraketu and told him to chant some mantra as the spirit master is doing. As Rupa Goswami has explained, Guru Padashray, we have to take shelter. That is the first limb of devotional service. We should approach a devotee of the Lord, a representative of the Lord, a pure devotee of the Lord, and then follow his instructions. Tadvidi paripatena pariprashana sevaya upadekshanti degyanam gyanindas tattva darshanaha. By serving and by inquiring submissively, then the spiritual master, the pure devotee is pleased, and he will give blessings, ashirvad. But then one has to continue, and then one will get realizations, one will advance, but still one has to be in the association of the advanced devotees to get more blessings, to get more knowledge, and to advance further. So King Chitraketu, of course, time, place, and circumstances are there. And so for 1 week, he was simply chanting the mantra received, and then he was simply drinking water. And after 1 week, he got darshan of the Supreme Lord, so which is very rare. So we hear, anyone had Sakshat Darshan here of the Lord by chanting the holy names or within the heart? Not so easy. Because the Lord is very merciful and he appears as the Archa Vigraha, Archa Avatar. By the mercy, of course, it is his own will that the Lord wants to descend, but then through the pure devotee. He comes in the heart of the pure devotee, and the pure devotee thinks, yes, in this place I should have a temple, I should install deities. And then there's a ceremony also, Pram Pratishta, giving life to the deity. But it is the Lord's will, and then the pure devotees then who is executing the will, the desire, because the desire of the pure devotee is same as the desire of Krishna. And then deity is established, and then we can see the Lord to some extent. Because with the material eyes we cannot see Satchidananda Swarup Krishna. Therefore he appears in the form in which we can perceive. That is the Archa Vigraha, made of wood or marble or metals, Panchadhatu or Ashtadhatu, 5 metals or 8 metals. And then we can, by serving, and by serving there's an exchange. And then by especially chanting the holy names, then we can realize the Krishna Nam and the Krishna in the temple and Krishna in the heart and Krishna in Goloka are not different. And then we can see Krishna as he is, his Satchidananda Swarup. And then we can see ourselves as spirit soul and our transcendental form and relationship with Krishna. In the beginning we know, the first step is to know I am not this body, I am spirit soul. And then that we have a relationship with the Supreme Lord. We're in this material world, we have to go to the spiritual world. And then we perform devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master, and then we get realization, practical realization, by following the process, padati. And then we come to the highest stage where pure love is manifested. And then we can perceive the Supreme Personality of Godhead as He is, and then there's full exchange is there, which is the goal of our life, to realize Krishna Sarup and our transcendental Sarup form and our relationship with Him. In Braj, as a servant, in friendly relationship, as a friend, or in parental affection, or in conjugal relationship. So he was chanting the mantra, and the Supreme Lord appeared, Vishnu, very beautiful form, transcendental form. And then, so in the beginning, so when he appeared, Vishnu, he was so much overwhelmed with transcendental feelings, ecstatic. I mean, and tears were coming from his eyes. I was trembling, known as Ashtasaktika Bhav. They're 8 in number, and becoming stunned, and so on, not being able to speak. So he was not able to speak because of transcendental emotions. Then after some time, he controlled himself, and then he was able to offer beautiful prayers. So we understand that this is possible by purva samskar, previous impressions. It is not that immediately you can pick up devotional service, and you can see many devotees are joining our movement. And some are very quickly advancing, and some are slowly advancing. Those who are quickly advancing, we understand that in their previous life already they were performing devotional service, or for many lifetimes. And those who are very slowly advancing, they didn't do much in the last lifetime. Just like somebody is going to school. First class, second class, third class, fourth class, fifth class. 10th class, 12th class. So those who are in the 12th class, usually they pass the 11 classes before. Unless they are genius, and sometimes they can jump the classes. Sometimes it happens, but very rare. So, but you have to go step by step. Similarly in devotional life, you have to go step by step. And then from Shraddha to Prem, the different stages are there. So whatever one has done in last life, that will be brought forward in this lifetime by the Lord's transcendental arrangement, by the internal potency of the Lord. So when he's speaking these beautiful prayers here, Viditam Ananta Samastam, oh Ananta, oh unlimited Supreme Lord. Viditam, you're well known as the Supreme Lord. So by those who are following the Sanskriti, the culture, those who have taken shelter of a saintly person, they will know, others they cannot know. As explained here also by Chitraketu himself, and by Prabhupada in the purport, that artistic men think that the cosmic manifestation has come about by chance, and so on. So artistic men or materialistic persons, they have their theories, how this world manifested. The Big Bang theory. There was a Big Bang in the beginning, and then everything came into place, which practically we can never see. If there's an explosion, like Second World War, the Americans, they dropped some bombs in Japan, and there was a big explosion. But nothing was created, everything was destroyed. So if there's an explosion, many times you can see explosion, sometimes in a gas factory or something. And then everything is destroyed. If there's an explosion, there's destruction. Nothing is created. And if you think about this wonderful material world, like every day the sunrise is there without fail. Here we have the electricity, but sometimes there's a power failure. Now not so much anymore, and we have backup system also. But I came to Vrindavan 1980, and that was a daily thing. No electricity. 1 hour, 2 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, and no backup system. And then later on we got the generator, but sometimes the generator is not working. And, then battery backup and so on. But in the Lord's creation, there is no failure at all. Every day the sun is rising and the sun is setting, and the different seasons are there without fail. Of course, sometimes there's some in the seasons because actually people are sinful, therefore there's a reaction of nature that the things are not completely in order. But otherwise, everything is going according to the Lord's will. So in the summer, the sun is rising early, or in the winter later, and the sunset is early in the winter and in the summer later. Year by year. And only when Krishna desires, and then he's not doing himself because he's enjoying his pastimes in Braj. So but then his agents in this world, like Lord Shiva, is there for the destruction, Mahapralay, and the Durga Devi is there also to help. And then everything is destroyed and entering into Mahavishnu. And so it's. But so the common man does not know. Even there are many religions are there, and we may accept them, we may respect them, like even the Christian religion, Jesus Christ. Today is before Christmas, the day, or here, actually appeared night time on 24th. And then 25th, so celebration is there. Even 24th they celebrate. And so a great personality, Shakti Aveshavatar. And so he gave some good guidance to people who are not very cultured. So he even told his disciples that I have many things to tell you yet, but you cannot understand. But he had full knowledge. He came to Bharadvarsha. Even it has been proven that he went also to the Tibetan monks and he got some siddhis. Also, it is accepted by the Vaishnavas that he came to Braj. He was in Braj. And he was in Jagannath Puri also. That is also recorded. And then, so at a young age he left because he saw that the priests there in Jerusalem, they were not pure followers or worshippers of God. And so he was trying to tell them something also, but then they wanted to, and they gave him a hard time. So he came to India for many years and attained some siddhis by the mercy of the Lord. And so he gained so much knowledge. And then he preached for some years, but then he was crucified. So anyhow, but because of his power, even now there's so many Christians. And of course, other religions are there, and we will show respect to them. But the foremost religion is actually in Bharadvarsha, Sanatan Dharma, which is from the Vedic literatures, which emanated from the Supreme Lord, and which Vyasadeva, another incarnation of the Lord, has written down with the help of Sri Ganesh. And then he divided the one Veda in four and entrusted to his four disciples, Vaishapayam Muni, Sumanta, and Jaimini, and Paila Muni. And then, of course, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself appeared and he empowered his devotees to write transcendental literatures which are as good as the Vedic literatures, but specifically in regards to Braj Bhakti, because he came to give Braj Bhakti. And by their mercy, so we have these transcendental literatures, Bhakti Rasamrita, Sindhu Upadeshamrita, by which we can perform our devotional service and we can advance. And later on, there are more books for those who are more advanced, and with the permission of the spiritual master, when they're more purified and mature in understanding and in devotional service, then they may read other books also. Like Prabhupada mentioned, a book by Sanatan Goswami, Brihad Bhagavatamrita. And he's writing in one letter, anyone who wants to know about Bhagavan, Bhakti, and Bhakta must read this book. But first you have to read the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then you can read this book. Anyone read the Bhagavad Gita? Everyone read? Srimad Bhagavatam? The whole Bhagavatam? No. Okay, you have to read that. Chaitanya Charitamrita? I read it 12 times in English, 2 times in Hindi, 1 time in Bangla. And after reading a few times all of Prabhupada's books, I read some other books also by the Acharyas. One of them, Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So I read it. Anyone read Brihad Bhagavatamrita? A few devotees, fortunate souls. And other books are there which are very wonderful. And Prabhupada is indicating in this song, Goranga bolite habe pulaka sharirang hari hari bolite nayane bhabe nira. So, by Narottam Das Thakur, Goranga bolite habe pulaka sharira. So we should chant, Goranga, Goranga. And what should happen when we chant Goranga? The hair should stand on end. It is happening? No. Hari Hari bolite nayane babe nira. And Hari Hari, Hari Hari. What should come? The tears should come from the eyes. They are coming? Very rare. Maybe one tear sometimes is coming. That is just the beginning. When Mahaprabhu was chanting in ecstasy or in separation, tears were coming like torrents of rains. And also Prabhupada sometimes. There was one, I was in New York, by the way, also for 3 years. Prabhuji didn't mention. Just for a visit. But because I knew deity worship and I knew Hindi because I came 1980 and I quickly learned, within a few months I learned Hindi. And so I went there and they wanted somebody to preach to the Indian community. So they asked me. And there are many Indians there, and especially the Gujaratis Patel. There's one place called Forest Hills, and there are many devotees there. I mean, many Gujaratis, so they asked me to preach there. I went there, and so preaching something. Yeah, so I stayed there for 3 years also. A beautiful temple of Radha Govinda. So which Prabhupada installed actually in Jaipur. And that these deities were given by the queen of, at that time, of Jaipur, Gayatri Devi. She was very beautiful, known as Beauty Queen. And she was very, of course, from the royal family, aristocratic. She was well known, actually, not only in India, but all over the world. So she had some, some connections. And the small deities in New York, actually, small Radha Krishna, these were the first deities in America. So I had the opportunity to serve them for almost 3 years. So I was preaching there. So anyhow, so yes, by the mercy of the Lord, by Prabhupada's mercy. So we are very fortunate, of course, Prabhupada's disciples like Rana Maharaj, who has established this wonderful place and doing such wonderful preaching and teaching the disciples very nicely. And they're all wonderful devotees. And so it is our good fortune to be here. And so the point was that after having read all Prabhupada's books, then we may read these books, as Prabhupada is mentioning, that Bihar Bhagavatamrita and other books are there, books of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So the point was also that we were there in New York, Prabhupada was in New York, and then he came there from India. He had arrived in New York. He went there for darshan. They opened, one proper disciple lady was there, Sharadiya, her name. So she was there and they opened the curtain and tears were coming from his eyes. like torrents of rain, and she was like almost 1 meter away, and her sari got wet because of the tears of Prabhupada's eyes. So, but that is only possible for the great personalities. But we are praying every day, right? You're chanting Shishtashtakam every day. Nayanam Galadashwadharaya Varanam Gadgadarudiyagira. So we're praying, when will the day come? That at least not torrents of rains, but at least 1 or 2 drops of, or I mean, tears from the eyes, not like torrents of rains, but just 1 or 2 tears. When we chant with loving sentiments, then eventually they will come. And then the more we increase, then more we feel this transcendental love. And then we may have some, maybe not Saksha Darshan, but we may remember Krishna. So this gradual, we may see like Krishna in distance, and we'll feel the presence of Krishna while chanting Krishna Nam, and we have seen the deity, we have heard about Krishna, we're chanting some mantras. Kasturi tilakam lalata patale vaksastale kaustuvam nasagre varamuktidam karatale venu kankanam sarvanga hari chandanam salutam kante chamuktavali gopastri pariveshtito vijayate gopala charamani. Very famous in verse which the Brijabasis, the devotees know. Kasturi Tilakam, so Krishna, beautiful form, and he has musk tilak here, just 1 dot actually. So chandan, sandalwood paste, and mixed with the musk, the kasturi of the deer, which is coming from the navel of the deer, which is very fragrant. So the Himalaya region you can still get sometimes. Lalata Patale on his forehead, his broad forehead is there. Symptoms of great personalities. And Krishna is the greatest. The Mahaprabhu, broad forehead is there, and beautiful long hair. Vaksastare Kaustubam, on his chest, a beautiful locket is there. Kaustubamani, it is mentioned with the calf's hoof print is there. And sometimes he has a locket which is closed. You know what is inside the locket? What is inside the locket? A picture of Srimati Radharani. And Radhi House has a locket, and a picture of Krishna is there. It's in the locket, it is closed, heart-shaped, so nobody can see. But the gopis, they know what is inside the locket. And then he's holding a flute, and is adorned with a beautiful pearl necklace, and he's wearing a yellow dhoti. So if we pray, if we chant these prayers to the Lord, we know the meaning. And then while chanting, then we may also remember. And then by Krishna's mercy, some revelation may be there. And the purer we are, the better we see Krishna. Sometimes there's some fog. Also here, some fog. In Braj now is very cold, very foggy. Sometimes you cannot even see 2 meters away. But if there's a little fog, you can see. So now our consciousness is foggy. Therefore, we cannot see Krishna. But the more we are enlightened, the better we can see Krishna. Or if we are going to the Himalayas, so from far we just see the big hill. But the closer we go, then we can see. Then we can see at the Himalaya hill. We cannot see the top, but we can see the hill is there, the beginning. Then you can see some houses are there, some people are there. So the more we become pure, the more we can see. So, and then ultimately we can realize. So there's a gradual process. So anyhow, so King Chitraketu is glorifying here and explaining that you're the unlimited Supreme Lord, and that is known by the, of course, devotees of the Lord. And you know everything about me, about everyone, because you're the super soul. But I am just nothing in presence of you, just like the sun is there, all pervading practically, all over the world. And so the glowworm is there, what the glowworm can do. You can see glowworms, you have here the glowworms sometimes, nighttime you can see. But what light you can see, it is useless. So, what to speak if the sun is there? During the day, we cannot even see the glowworm. At night time, we can see a little light, but during the day, we can see nothing. So, our knowledge is nothing. So, you're the creator, the maintainer, annihilator. Although Krishna is the creator ultimately, but he's not doing himself because he's performing his pastimes in Braj. But then he has Mahavishnu there, and from him the universes are manifested, unlimited, and in each universe, and then so Garvadaksha Vishnu is there, and from his lotus navel, lotus flower is coming, and then the 14 planets are there, and the top it will manifest. And then on the top, Lord Brahma is there, and then he's the secondary creator, giving, manifesting different bodies in which the jivas can enter. So and then, but Vishnu, expanded form of Krishna, is maintaining, and Lord Shiva is there. And Durga, of course, Shiva and Durga are there at the beginning, helping also, and at the end, at the destruction. So, but only the devotees, they can fully understand the Lord's greatness. So he's explaining that, and he's offering his respectful obeisances. And Srila Prabhupada also in the purport is explaining that materialistic people, they can never understand God. Only the devotees who are surrendered to Guru Garanga Krishna, they can understand. And we are most fortunate because we are in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, and we have the most complete knowledge, and our acharyas have given the, the highest understanding of Radha Krishna's pastimes, of Mahaprabhu's pastimes, and at the same time they have given explanation about the different other incarnations and about this material existence according to the Bhagavatam also, but they have given also detailed explanation for further understanding, so we are most fortunate. So just like Chitraketu, he was offering prayers, so we should also, that is one anga, one limb of devotional service. Offering prayers, vandanam, shavanam, kirtanam, Vishnu smaranam, parasevanam, achanam, vandanam, dasyam, sakyam atma nivedanam. So first we have to hear about devotional life, then we have to chant the holy names, then we can remember. We hear, we chant, then we can remember. And then we can serve properly. Then we can serve the deities. Then we can, with the knowledge, we can offer different prayers. And dasyam, we should always in the mood of I am the servant of Krishna. Sambandhagyam, Jivera Supoi Krishna Nityadas. I'm the servant of Krishna. I'm completely separate from the gross and material body, gross, subtle, material body. So with Sambandha Gyan, I'm the servant of Krishna, we should perform our devotional service, chanting and serving in different ways. And then after, this is Vaidhi Bhakti. And then we can enter Rag Marg, that is the spontaneous platform. And then comes Sakyam, the relationship with Krishna, confidential. And then we can fully surrender. So now we are practicing, our surrender is conditioned. Our humility is kacha, is unripe. And our faith is also komal. But the more we become pure, the better we can surrender, the more the humility will be there, and the more the faith will be strong. So we should continue performing our devotional service, and offering prayers is very important. So we chant the holy names, which is most important, but we have Mangalatik, we chant prayers to Guru, of course. We may chant prayers for Krishna also. When we see the deities, when we worship the deities, we do Guru Puja, then Gauranga Puja, then Krishna Puja, and then we offer prayers in glorification of the Lord. Specifically, if we want to go to Golok, we should chant prayers in glorification of Krishna. Like, hey Krishna, Karuna, Sindhu, Dino, Bandho, Jagatpate, Gopesha, Govika Kanta, Radha Kanta, Namastate. And we have to advance from Sambandha Gyan to Abhideya Gyan, Prayojan Gyan. So we should chant Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan mantra also. Everyone knows Jaitam Suruto Pangor Mama Madhavater Gadi Mat Sarvasa Parambo Jo Radha Marana Mohano. Dibba Bindara Nagalpa Drumado Simadat Nagar Simmasanasto Shimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prishtali Bishevam Smarami Shimam Rasara Saram Bi Vamsivadadastita Kasan Venosanai Gopir Gopinata Siestunaha. And then Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Hari Priye. So we have to take shelter of Shivati Radharani, then we can properly worship Krishna. So Krishna is Vishaya Vigraha, is the object of our love, and Shivati Radharani is Ashaya Vigraha, the abode of love. So, and Sri Guru is the manifestation, of course, of Krishna Balaram, but specifically in our line of Shrimati Radharani, our gurus are mostly gopis or manjaris, like the six Goswamis, Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, who are confidential associates of Shrimati Radharani. So they are all Ashaya Vigraha. We take shelter of them, then we can hope to please Krishna. Om Tat Sat, Hare Krishna. So it is 9:15, so we should conclude here. We have time for questions, or everyone is busy with other services? Fine. Or you want to say something, Prabhuji? Yes. Yes.
Direction. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Right.
It was a very beautiful class, and you said many valuable, interesting things. I have heard from His Grace Amarendra Prabhu when he was a growing young boy. He took a lot of inspiration from you.
Yeah, I
Before
know him since he's 10
when he was
years
small.
old.
Yeah, correct.
Since 20 years I know him.
Yeah,
And his family, his father. And
So my question was, in our development of devotion towards the divine couple, towards Sri Radha and Krishna, sometimes I find in our society, some of them have developed properly over a period of time. The understanding of the scripture on one side, and worshipping the deities, and on the other side, and also proper behavior towards the devotees and everything. They have grown, what do you call it, wholesome way, in a very wholesome way. Like Amarendra is one person I adore, and because of him, I know about you also very much. So, but sometimes I find some growing kids, they even worship Shaligram Shila sometimes. Or carry also, they say, I have a deity with me, I'm carrying. But then their materialistic mindset doesn't go away. Although they even talk from advanced scriptures sometimes. They quote shloka sometimes. They memorized also. So why is it that despite their attraction and absorption in such scriptures as well as worship of daily worship of Shaligram and everything, they also carry a materialistic mindset, that Gramya Buddhi, as we say.
yes, yes. Good question. And actually the thing is to become completely pure, it will take some time. And so a pure devotee, so is Sudurlabh, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also. Bahunam janmanante jnanavamam pabadyate vasudeva savamiti samahatma sudurlabhaha. So pure devotee, Sudurlabh, is very rare. Manushanam sahaseshu kaschit yatadamapi. What it is? Kashtimam veti tattvata. Veti tattvataha. To know Krishna completely, or full realization of Krishna is very rare. So, of course, it is a matter of the consciousness and pure consciousness. But as we perform devotional service, so we may advance, and then we may adopt the principles of devotional service, and we may gain knowledge also, and as many devotees are, but still there may be some impurities there. And even it is mentioned by the acharyas. So from the process from Shraddha to Prem, Sadhusanga Bhajana Kriya Natanivriti, Sadhusanga, Shraddha Sadhusanga Bhajana Kriya Natanivriti Nishta Ruchi Asakti Bhav Prem. So anatta means unwanted things. So to cross that will take some time. But even on the platform of Nishta, one is completely fixed, but still some slight anarthas may be there, impurities. Even on the platform of Ruchi, but on platform of Ruchi, one has some taste for spiritual activities, for chanting the holy name, serving the Lord. And then, but even there might be some slight impurity there, but it becomes less and less. Even on a Sakti, one is attached to Krishna. But then one is detached from this world, but still something little may be there. Therefore, even like Bharat Maharaj, he was on the platform of Bhav, a Sakti Bhav. But then he somehow, out of compassion, he took care of a small deer. And he diverted his attention to that. And then he became a deer. So which is very rare that somebody from Bhavavasta will be deviated, but just to show that one has to be careful. And so there was a slight contamination there. So therefore it is not surprising to see devotees who have knowledge, who are worshipping the deities, and who are long time in the movement already, but still they have some difficulty there. Because to become completely pure is very, very rare. Even it is mentioned, so Swarup Siddha, even you may realize your Swarup. And only after realizing your Swarup and giving up your body, you can enter Krishna's pastimes. And so it is explained by the acharyas like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And so the gopis, some of the sadhakas, like different sadhakas are there. It is mentioned also in Ramchandra's pastimes, in the forest of Dandakaranya, some sadhus were there. They were meditating on Radha and Krishna and the gopis. So their understanding of Gopi Swarup. And they saw, Ramchandra, so beautiful. They became attracted. And he understood their mind. He was saying, Ekapatni Vrat. And I cannot entertain your feelings. So, but in our next incarnation, then you will be able to be with me. And so those kind of, but others were there also, meditating on Radha Krishna's pastimes, and then they will take birth in one of the universes where Krishna performs his pastimes, and they are trained by the Nitya Siddha gopis. And it is mentioned that when Krishna is playing the flute, calling the gopis, the Nitya Siddha gopis immediately again go there, somehow, because nobody can stop them. But those who have a slight impurity there, they were stopped by their brothers of parents or so-called husbands, and they cannot go. And then they were crying in separation. And then, because of their crying separation, then Yoga Maya, so that they become purified from the little impurity, and Yoga Maya then created a body to be there at home, and there with their actual body they want to meet Krishna. So you can see, therefore, we should not be surprised if somebody is performing devotional service and having some deities also, that he may still have some Dehatma Buddhi, and as you say, Gramya Buddhi, and speak maybe Gramya Katha. So because the pure devotees are extremely rare, and those who are completely free from any desire. So that, of course, eternally associates they come, and they're never contaminated. But then others, by sadhana and kripa, they become perfect. And some kripa siddha, but it is very rare. But they must have done something special also, and some sadhana. But usually it is sadhana, and combined with kripa, then one becomes perfect. So,
thank you very much, Prabhu. Prabhu, you were saying about that point about crying for Krishna or feeling separation. So that viraha, one step prior to that is the raga, or rati.
Yes.
Or raga for that. But one step before rati or raga is the shraddha. Prabhupada translates shraddha as respect or interest yes. or faith.
Yes.
So one point you told in your class today about the shraddha is the purva janma sukruti, bhakti
Yes.
sukruti you were saying, which is, of course, it's there for certain people, and but it doesn't empower devotee at the current moment to do something, So it is already something which they carry,
Yes.
So you can
mostly.
say some other additional points on what all things that contribute to shraddha, development and solidification. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, two kinds of Shraddha is also mentioned. Lokik Shraddha and Paralokik Shraddha. Alokik Shraddha. So at the beginning, somebody believes in God and believes in the process, adopting the process, but then still material consciousness is there. So the Shraddha is not strong. But in the association of the sadhu, in sadhu sangha, so which is actually most important is sadhu sangha. On our own, we cannot do much. But we need sadhu sangha, especially those who are highly advanced. We need sadhu sangha. In the association of the sadhu sangha, our consciousness becomes purified. And as the consciousness becomes purified, then the humility will become ripe. That he has explained, Narada Muni also, in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, ripe Shraddha, Paripakva Shraddha. So it is a matter of purification of the consciousness. And then the faith becomes strong, like unbreakable faith that is only possible if you are in purified consciousness. And then when you are in purified consciousness, relatively free from the modes of material nature, then it becomes strong, and then you can also surrender fully. So the main ingredient actually is sadhu sangha. If you are in the association of those who have strong faith, then it is more easy. But still, you have to do your work also. Because sometimes you may see devotees are in the association of the pure devotees, but still, they also not humble yet, or they also don't have full faith, and sometimes they may go away. So, but the association of the advanced devotee will help. But then we have to do also our work. We have to do our prayas, our endeavor to chant nicely. And then we have to pray. Prayers are also very important. You pray to Guru Gauranga and Krishna, so we may become humble. So we may have unflinching faith in the Lord. So prayers also are required. So it is a matter of practice ultimately, and purification. And so serious, sincere endeavor, but we should have the association of those who are more advanced. Otherwise, there's every chance that we become contaminated by others who are not advanced, or we are under the influence of the external energy. Even it is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, even on the platform of Bhav, one should be in the association of the Premi Bhaktas, of the eternal associates of the Lord. So, Hare Krishna. So I think we should stop here. It is 9:30. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaja ki, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki, Go Premanande, Hare Hare Bol, Hare Krishna.
God.